I made a video about Taiwan that really fired up the trolls. They jumped into my comment section to say, Taiwan is not a country. Taiwan is a province of China. About that time, a couple of my friends who are planning to visit me later this year asked about getting a Chinese visa. They thought they need a Chinese visa to visit Taiwan. All of this made me realize there's a lot of confusion and misinformation out there about Taiwan and China. And I thought, since I'm an American with 98 subscribers on YouTube, I'm like the perfect person to explain this. My name is Jeff Bell, and this video is about Taiwan and its complicated relationship with China and the world. You're watching Planet Bell. Is Taiwan part of China? No, but also sort of. Taiwan's relationship status is a little complicated. The dictionary defines a country as a nation with its own government, occupying a particular territory. By this definition, Taiwan is indeed a country and not part of China. Taiwan, which is called the Republic of China, is different than China, which is called the People's Republic of China. Confused yet? Taiwan, or the ROC, is a thriving democracy with a female president named Tsai Ing-wen, who I'm pretty sure signs her emails
boss-ass bitch.
Sincerely, boss-ass bitch.
The ROC has its own military, trade agreements, passports, and currency. It occupies the island of Taiwan and controls several outer islands, including the beautiful and fascinating Kinmen Islands, a few miles off the coast of mainland China. Taiwan competes in sporting events, such as the Olympics and the FIFA World Cup, albeit under the ambiguous moniker of Chinese Taipei. Of course, the one question any country that wants to be independent must answer is this.
Do you have a flag?
Taiwan not only has a flag, but Taiwan objectively has an amazing flag.
No flag, no country. You can't have one.
These are simply dictionary definitions and facts. So what does China, the USA, the European Union, the East Asian countries, and most importantly, the United Nations have to say about this? This is where things get complicated and confusing.
It's complicated.
According to the UN, Taiwan is officially part of China. Again, China has absolutely no actual jurisdiction over Taiwan, and the island operates as its own country in every way. So why does China claim Taiwan, and do they have a right to it? In 1683, the Qing dynasty that ruled mainland China took over the island of Taiwan, known at the time as Formosa. They held the island for 200 years until 1895 when Japan captured it. Back on the mainland, the Qing dynasty fell in the 1911 revolution and became the Republic of China, ruled by the Nationalist Party. Not long after, a civil war broke out between this nationalist government and the newly established Chinese Communist Party, or the CCP. However, they put the civil war on hold to fight a common enemy, Japan, during World War II. After nuking Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the Allied forces issued Japan with a surrender ultimatum known as the Potsdam Declaration. The declaration stated that Japan must relinquish the land they acquired via force, including the island of Taiwan obtained 50 years ago from the Qing dynasty. The Allies gave Japan two choices: an unconditional surrender or prompt and utter destruction. And since the Allies just obliterated two cities with nuclear bombs, the Japanese did the pragmatic thing and signed the agreement on September 2nd, 1945, officially ending World War II. As per the Potsdam Agreement, the Republic of China took control of Taiwan. Later that year, the Republic of China became a founding member of the United Nations and received a permanent spot on a Security Council. And everyone lived happily ever after. Not quite. So remember that civil war in China? With Japan out of the way, the nationalist government and communist rebels got back to fighting. The communists routed the nationalist forces, and they retreated to the islands off the coast of China and to Taiwan in 1949. This led to a complicated situation in which there were two Chinas. The People's Republic of China controlled the mainland, while the Republic of China controlled Taiwan, but both claimed each other's land. Things remained like this for 2 decades, while the Republic of China held the seat at the United Nations as a government in exile. In 1971, the UN General Assembly gave the Republic of China, aka Taiwan, the boot. The PRC was the sole representative of China. Since the PRC claimed the island of Taiwan, and the ROC no longer had a seat at the UN, this explains why, even today, the official position of the UN is that Taiwan is part of China. This is despite the fact that the PRC has never had any jurisdiction over the island in their history. Not only does the UN not officially recognize Taiwan, but neither do any major countries. In fact, only 14 countries recognize Taiwan, and they aren't exactly world powers. However, most countries have unofficial relations with Taiwan, preferring to keep it casual and low-key, so they don't upset China, the big bully. Taiwan has embassies all over the world, but they are euphemistically called Taipei Economic and Cultural Representative Offices, which is a mouthful to say. By maintaining unofficial relations with Taipei, countries can have official relations with Beijing. This is the reason why the United States does not recognize Taiwan, even though we are close allies. Doing so would upset a nuclear-armed country with 1.4 billion people, who form the world's second-largest economy.
Well, holy f***, that's complicated.
To recap, even though the UN officially recognizes Taiwan as part of China, and only 14 countries recognize Taiwanese independence, the reality is Taiwan is an independent country. If Taiwan were part of China, it would be part of China.
You know, you really don't need a forensics team to get to the bottom of this. If you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook.
So what do the Taiwanese people want? A survey conducted in August of 2023 showed that 49% support independence and 27% prefer the status quo. A mere 11% want reunification. According to Taiwan's president, there's no need to change anything right now.
We are an independent country already, and we call ourselves Republic of China-Taiwan, and we do have government, and we have the military, and we have elections.
Few statements are likely to infuriate China more.
And of course these comments infuriate China. This is the same country that banned Winnie the Pooh because they couldn't handle the memes.
Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, tubby little cubby all stuffed with fluff, he's Winnie the Pooh.
And the same country that banned Top Gun Maverick because they showed 1 second, literally 1 second, of the ROC flag. Other than pride, why does the CCP want Taiwan so badly? Think about this map from China's perspective. Coastal China is surrounded by the first island chain, with perceived enemies South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines, and the United States hemming them in. Moreover, the United States has a massive military presence in the region, which obviously makes China nervous. And of course, China would love to take over Taiwan's semiconductor operation and have access to all their fishing waters as well. If China were a democracy with a palatable human rights record, they could be allies with their neighbors and work towards a brighter future for all.
Growing tensions this morning in Taiwan.
China may be one step closer to attacking Taiwan.
At issue, the latest military moves here in the Strait of Taiwan.
Will China try to invade Taiwan? First off, I hope not. Any invasion would lead to a massive loss of life and would devastate the world economy. Second, how the heck does anyone know? Before Russia invaded Ukraine, I thought old-time trench warfare was a thing of the past. On one hand, I don't think China is building this massive military for nothing. On the other, it's probably the most self-destructive thing the CCP could do. The most disappointing thing about this whole conflict is that Taiwan and China should be besties. They have a shared culture and language, and 95% of Taiwanese people are Han Chinese. They'd be natural allies. Perhaps Beijing should listen to the advice of a wise philosopher who once said, "Don't underestimate the value of doing nothing." China could do nothing with Taiwan and focus on self-improvement. The world would be a much better place, and the only people who won't be happy are the trolls, who'd have to admit that Taiwan is indeed a country. Speaking of which, the video I made that fired up the trolls is called, "Is Taiwan the best country in Asia?" Here's the link.